we're in a meta where it's like for my own ego, and also just for my team's sake, I refuse to be a black hole.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I hate it. It like that drives me more than anything.
Here I am with the Don himself, Ozone from Dilemma. Ozone, how you doing?
I'm good. Where'd you hear the Dawn from? I only know one other person that calls me the Dawn still. Where'd you hear
I'm
that
pretty
from?
sure it's like either in your Twitter ad or that's one of the first ways I heard you referred to. So I was like, he's Don Ozone or El
It
Jefe.
was Don Ozone for a little bit. I've swapped between the two, but for Element 1, we went back to El Clasico, you know? El
Yeah,
Jefe.
yeah.
But yeah, I have Repas from For My Gang. When I used to team with him, I was on Don Ozone. So anytime
Okay.
he refers to me like on Twitter, he'll just be like, "Da Don." I'm just like, hey.
Yeah, no, I do my research, and also I've got a mad memory for random facts. Don't get me started about year two. I got all the stats. Anyways, we're not here to talk about year two. We're here to talk about you, Dilemma, and Element One. So, you guys have had an interesting path so far. You started with a really clean win against For My Gang to the point where I almost feel like there's nothing to talk about. I don't know if you disagree.
There's
Yeah,
absolutely nothing to talk about.
kind of figured. But your second match was against Aerial Arise, which, you win 7-1, and then your reward is one of the best teams of the league. So,
A lot of conversations on Twitter about that one.
Yeah.
I did get a chance to see that. I mean, it is what it is. You know, you go from the easiest game of the entire league to the hardest game. I like that. I like the change of pace.
hey, it made for a banger though. Like you might have been stressing, but me, I was having fun watching the sparks fly, and it was a close match, and it was definitely one that probably could have gone your way had a few things flipped around. But how did you feel about the match? Because obviously, being in the server and like what a spectator sees, two very different situations, right?
Yeah. So I mean, ultimately, like the thing that I told the guys, kind of coming out of that game, when you go into any game, you want to win.
Yeah.
That it should go without saying. I mean, you're gonna get the same response from quite literally everybody. We came into that game expecting to win. I just want to say too, just by the way, like, and I'm not gonna let this one go. I knew going into that game, and in general, like this is something that people just should know. If you don't know, then you haven't done enough research. Aerial is a 9-map pool team.
Yeah.
They know all 9 maps. They play all 9 maps. Now, obviously, there are some maps that they are best on and some maps that they are just good on.
Yeah.
And their good is, like, best for other teams, right? So for us, it's like we went into For My Gang with an idea of, like, this is what they'll ban. This is what we'll probably play. We got it pretty accurate. We had 3 maps that were like, I mean, depending on who stars, we can get either one of these maps. Aerial, in my mind, they're banning our best maps. I already know what they're going to ban right away. We're banning 4 maps that we're going to set. It's like, these are our maps we're going to ban, and the map's going to be club. I'm like, I remember 2 hours before the game, I was sitting there, because I don't know, my team, and it's a good mentality, my team is like, we play them on whatever map, we'll play our game, we should win.
Yeah.
But I'm very, very, like, I like to, like, mentally prepare myself for things in the game, like things I could be thinking about doing.
Yeah.
So in my mind, it's like, I have to think about what map we're playing, right? So I'm like doing a bunch of mock bans in my head. I'm like, okay, this ban, and I'm like,
You got the whole simulation. You got the Tony Stark, like.
It's like, listen, I'm not even a superhero fan like that, but like you see the scene from Infinity War with Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
300,000 ways. I'm like, I've done it like 6 times in my head. Like I'm telling you, we're getting clubbed. And they're like, I mean, maybe like maybe we get this map. Maybe they'll play us on this. They're gonna want. I'm like, no. I'm telling you, it's club. So I knew going into it that was what we're gonna play, and honestly, like coming out of it, it was a hard loss.
Yeah.
We were 1 round away from overtime. There's some costly mistakes on both sides of the ball. I mean, you really can't overstate the fact that Aerial is a great team.
Yeah.
They're the best team in the league. People expect them to win. And to be the best, you got to beat the best. And they may be up 10-0 against us. But that's not going to stop us from having that same confidence. If anything, it brought more confidence to myself because you get, and this is the thing, the very roundabout way that I was trying to get to was coming out of that game. I'm like, listen, regardless of what that outcome was, that was the best outcome we could have had.
Yeah.
Regardless. Doesn't matter if we win or lose. Because if you really think about it, right, like Aerial is the team to beat and it also is the team that everybody expects to win.
Yeah.
Right?
And
If
it's
you
a really
play
good
them early,
benchmark.
It's that, and if you play them early
Okay.
in best of ones, you don't show off too much. You get a
Oh,
good chance
okay.
of winning the game. You beat them, you play triple G, best of three for for the playoff spot. You lose, now you play the other teams that I feel very confident in beating in best of ones. We'll get a best of three against a team that we more than likely have already beaten. Like in my
Yeah.
mind, it's probably going to be something like wild card or
Carnival, I
one
think they're going
HP.
by. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's Phil
right,
1 HP guys.
right, exactly. And it's like those guys we can beat.
Yeah.
Like I would rather have played Ariel in a BO1, lost, and not have to play them in a BO3 where it more than likely goes all three maps. We're showing stuff for all three maps, as opposed to just, hey, listen, we played a good game, we lost, it sucks, but you know what? Now we get to play Karn. We'll probably play Carnival or Wildcard in a BO3. We've smoked them the last time we played them, and we won both of them.
Yeah.
2-0 for Dow. Off stream, by the way, so you can't say like they're hiding strats, right? So it's like, I'm that outcome to me that got me excited. I mean, hey, listen,
Yeah.
like the future's looking good for us.
It's a win, and I remember when I was in the Osiris watch party, the managers and people were joking like, "Yo, now that I think about it, if we actually lose, we get to face worse teams. So like,
Yeah.
maybe we should lose." It was like this whole running joke, and then we're like, "Oh shit, we might actually lose. I don't like this no more. Stop it! Stop the count! Stop the count!"
That's one of those old running like qual jokes where it's like
Yeah.
if you're in a 3-day qual, it's like, and you lose game 1 or you lose the game 2, it's like, nice. Now we get all the shit teams. We get to play everybody who's ass, and we get a free ride to close, as opposed to like losing late. And then it's like, oh, we got to play like other good teams. Like you want to lose to the shit team early because it's
Yeah.
like, hey, listen, who cares? We get to play all the garbage teams at the bottom. We get a free ride in. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good.
Although I will say, you're not quite getting a garbage team. Like Karn and Co, as far as Element 1 goes, like they're at least solid middle upper pack right now, and especially like with the new addition of Nick and Kickstro. They seem pretty solid, even though they made pretty decent roster changes. Are you doing any like prep for them? You're pulling out the Doctor Strange simulation again, or are you just going
No,
straight
not
into
at
this
all.
one?
Not at all. We're coming into this with the mindset that if we just play our game, and we think that the map we're gonna get is the one we're gonna get, we're gonna win.
All right.
Just very simply. Like, much respect to the guys on Karn. I don't know any of them personally, but I have seen them around and I've watched their games being
Yeah.
in T3 and them being in T2, right? So it's like you have that kind of mutual respect to start with, but now that we're about to face each other on the same level, it's like I'm not worried. I mean,
Yeah.
look, I don't want to be that guy, but I am gonna be that guy, right?
let's
Like,
go.
I think Karn is like 3-11 across 2 games, or 3-18 across 2 games. It's
Uh,
like
He's copying
I'm not-
Super. He's
I'm not
following
too
Super's example.
all right, I didn't say that. That was not me. That was you who said
Oh,
that.
oh yeah, no, I'm aware.
All I'm saying is we're banning the Oryx because they put Karn on Oryx for 1 round. He was good for 1. We banning that. I ain't taking my chances with Karn on Oryx.
No, that's
we
fair.
good.
All right. I do want to talk a little bit more about Dilemma as a team, not just Element 1, because originally I was planning to do these like before Element 1, and I got busy, got distracted, as I do. I want to talk about your new pickups. Well, new, relative. Woos and
Yeah.
Brios aren't exactly like moves made just for Element 1, but they were made alongside other tournaments and everything. We've seen them around on this team, and Cryptics as well. Like, these are all players that have seemingly raised the ceiling to higher than what you used to be, which is good. Because I got the sense, like, X-Lycus Empire was kind of capped out. You guys were, you optimized, you got every last bit of potential, and you were there. The problem was, it just wasn't enough, and now you've got, like, this new squad, like, Cryptics obviously elevating, but, like, what was going on with Woos? I've just had this question for months now. I've been trying to work it out.
Funny? Why is it so funny? No, I mean, unless you know, it's like one of the most confusing things on the face of the planet. I know actually Woos recently got a Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
And so like, I know it must be hell for those editors to be like, okay, wait, you joined this team and then you
Yeah.
left. So here's what happened. Okay, let me take you through the timeline because okay, Frick was right in a sense that like we have recycled the same, technically 2 players,
Yeah.
3 players a few times. And then there's a reason for that, right? So originally, right, it was Mystic.
Yeah.
It was Aggro, Candle,
I want to say
Cryptics.
yeah.
It was Cryptics. It was somebody else. I can't remember who. Plus me.
Yeah.
Plus me. Because I joined after Outlast with the whole relegation thing, right? We ended up picking up Brios.
Yeah.
And that was the roster. Brios got his shot at CL with Karn.
Yeah.
And so we brought Woos on because Woos didn't have any better options at the time. That's Woos part 1. That's Brios part 1.
Okay.
We move on now. We're with this team for a little bit. I think Woos gets what is it? Woos gets his opportunity with another team. Wow, I'm actually forgetting the timeline myself.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, let me go to recent history.
Yeah, let's just start with recent stuff.
Here's what happens. Okay, the primary roster for the last few months has been me, Crypt, Aggro, Brios, Candle.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Cryptics. So, in Phase 2, Aggro couldn't play. He could not play Phase 2. He could play Phase 1, and that's what took us to Phase 2. But in Phase 2, where we had to play Aerial, right, Triple G, Karn and Co., right, all those guys.
Yeah.
Aggro couldn't play. He was busy. So, Woos stepped in as a last-minute substitute.
Okay.
And, I mean, results kind of speak for themselves. We came second in the tournament, only being bested by Wildcard, who was on, like, a really hot streak at the time.
Yeah.
Right? So, after that, we kind of went back to the original roster, right? Woos was kind of, like, jumping between teams, like, trying to find something that stuck.
Yeah.
And then there was a situation where he came back for a little bit because Cryptics retired after SFCL.
Yeah.
He came back for, like, a week. Left to Wildcard because Wildcard.
Yeah.
Then left Wildcard again because he's like, guys, I gotta come back, right? And that was kind of like the moves that were made. And then we made it was a difficult decision. I mean, genuinely it was because at the end of the day, we're all good friends, right? Like I didn't like it. It is the case with people that people as teammates before you know them as friends. Right?
Yeah.
I knew Aggro as a friend before I knew him as a teammate because he originally he was just, randomly invited me to come ranked and he's like, yo, we're getting a B&B at Charlotte. Like, do you want to come?
Oh,
and so like, that's how I got onto Mystic, was through that kind of mutual connection.
Yeah.
So it really was a difficult decision, but ultimately, and I know Woos just touched on it, it's like, it was a role thing. And we felt like our ceiling with like the very specific roster of having Crypt, Woos, Brios, me, and Candle was just something about that combination that we felt was better. And so that coupled with bringing on Sublik from EU, he's a great guy. Shout out to him. He's done so much work in such a short period of time to kind of clean up some of our issues. We really have felt like we're just a completely new team. We've got a completely new confidence to us. We play completely differently, and we've been having a lot of really quality scrims to just kind of prove ourselves. The For My Gang was not much of anything besides a warm-up scrim, really, to like the main event. And against Aerial, at the very minimum, what we're able to kind of walk away with, cope or not, is that like the mistakes we made were mistakes that we just quite frankly haven't been making and should not have been making on that day.
Yeah, like you guys were winning a lot of the early round situations. It was just the mid to late round where it would kind of fall apart. So it's like, well, we got the first part of the formula. We just got to tighten up the end. But, exactly. You got step 1 done. A lot of teams, especially against Aerial Arise, can't even get step 1. So that's good. That's a good start to like even have.
We feel very confident about our ceiling right now, and we feel like we haven't reached our ceiling. These games are just further like honing our edge. And I mean, like I said before, right? Like it doesn't matter who we're going to end up playing for these next 2 games to make playoffs, right? First of all, we're making playoffs.
Yeah.
Second of all, right? Like whoever's in our way, we feel we can take care of them comfortably.
Yeah. And so now we're getting onto the fun stuff.
Oh boy.
Yeah. The first one is a bit interesting because you are the IGL. You are the main shot caller for Dilemma. How has your IGLing improved? I'm always curious to see the growth of IGLs, and it's always something hard to like almost quantify because it's not a stat. You can't say
impossible.
Yo, Mr. B called
impossible.
Mr. B called 15 mid rounds that had a 75% conversion rate, but tactically it was the right thing, but just lost the gut. Nobody can do that. It's way harder to look at value in that sense than like +2 on the entry. Woo! Like, So how has your IGLing like improved and changed in prep and throughout Element 1 so far?
It's the first time anybody's ever asked about IGLing, by the way. So hats off, really.
Yeah.
That's gonna go on the quote tweet. That never gets asked. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's funny because I remember like post game, for my gang Element 1, and again like I love the casters, right? Like
Yeah,
the casters,
no, love those
I
guys.
love the casters genuinely.
Yeah.
Like I love listening to them, right? For a time
so
I wanted
good.
to be a caster.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was funny. Like I forget who said it, but somebody was like, "Oh, to see Ozone's growth as an IGL and as a leader." And I'm like, "How do you quantify that?" What? Because you hear me screaming in the listen-ins, and I'm like, "Yeah!" It's like, wow, now that is an IGL. It's like, no, I mean, honestly, IGLing is a thankless job.
Yeah.
Genuinely. The only times that I get thanked when I'm IGLing is if nobody dies, or if I go in there and I get like 3 kills, right? Like. And then it's like, wow, great call. It's like, I mean, I guess I had to go kill them, but like, great call, yeah. Really, I think as of late, I feel like I've been actually focusing less and less on my IGLing. I've been feeling very confident with myself as an IGL.
Yeah.
For a long time I have, if I'm being 100% honest. Like, the thing that always held me back was my gun skill. And I don't think that's a secret, right? You ask anybody, it's like, oh, Ozone, great mind, shit gun.
Yeah,
it is what it is, right?
It's the standard plight of the IGL, honestly. Like, you look at Poison or, like,
exactly.
Super,
Yeah, exactly.
I was memeing him, but, like, he had the mind to make it work. It was just straight up, dude's a, like, black hole on the scoreboard, but he's smart enough to compensate. So,
and
no shame.
We're in a meta where it's like, for my own ego, and also just for my team's sake, I refuse to be a black hole.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I hate it. It like, that drives me more than anything. In my mind, if you want like a little insight into like how I kind of come up with the things.
Yeah, let's do
I play music, right?
All
so
right.
I play guitar. You see 2 of my guitars
Oh,
back there?
yo!
Yeah, really nice guitars over there.
Yo,
that
that's
one
sick.
That one I built. It's like a
You
parts
built
caster.
it?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
it's
hell
spare
yeah.
parts. And then this one I got as a gift. But
Nice.
like, one of the things about music and improvisation within music
Ooh,
is like,
love improv.
you don't make up anything. So then this should make sense. But I'm going to explain it for a more general audience. You don't really make up anything when it comes to improv and music, right? Like, there's only 12 notes in like the Western musical notation.
Yeah.
So what you're really doing is you're calling upon memories of things you've heard before, and you're bringing it into a new context. That's how I like to view IGLing. In my mind, I have a book of plays, like an NFL playbook, right?
Yeah.
Of things that I can say like, oh, this works. I like this. And then based off of the situation that I'm in, I kind of bring it into context.
Yeah.
And I say like, hey, let's try this. And that's kind of like where my IGLing style comes from. It's very on the fly. It's like, hey, they're doing this. Can we try this? Like, hey, I think this might work. And then just identifying patterns. Just kind of seeing things multiple times. They don't always look the same. In fact, they never look the same. But, right, it's like that old saying, right? It's like history never repeats, it rhymes. It's the exact same thing. Yeah. You see a similar situation where it's like, oh, we have this control. They are kind of settled in an arrangement where this should work. Yeah. We should be able to do this. And then it's up to the players to actually go and make that happen.
Yeah.
But for the most part, right, it's like me, I'm focused on keeping my IGLing sharp. I really just focus on the early game, that kind of mid-round adjustment and trying to get everybody on the same page. But my biggest focus right now is making sure that my gun is up and that I'm able to make the impactful frags where I can. And it's only been 2 games, right? Yeah. But like, especially in that Arrow game, I feel like right now I'm feeling very confident.
Yeah, you're
with
shooting
myself
back.
That I can.
Yeah, you're shooting back.
That's pretty good.
When Freak has to say, "Wow, didn't know you had it in you for 8 kills," probably doing something right.
It's just I mean, I wish I would have won that game. I wish I would have won that game. I would have had so much to say.
The Lebron effect.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Anyways, this is the last few questions. This is the first one, which is the top 3 teams in Element 1 so far. Feel free to include yourself. Gotta always lay that on the table.
Yep. I mean, I think it's us, Triple G, and Ariel.
All right. No SSG Academy?
Triple G, no.
Okay.
And that's me watching. That's me watching. I'm sorry if these answers, by the way, are very long.
No, I love it.
I love to just talk.
No, I love it.
Something that like I feel like people don't do, and I don't blame them for not doing that because people in this scene are like competitors first, right?
Yeah.
Like I am a competitor first. To me, everything is about winning.
Yeah.
But before I was a competitor, right, I was a lover of the game. I've
Yeah.
been playing this game since closed beta on PlayStation.
Wow. All right.
So
Shit,
I
you
got
outrank
the
me.
nice, I got the nice little skins that come across with it, and I've been watching Pro League since year one.
Yeah.
Right. So like I've been some of the people that I'm playing against, I've been watching for longer than I've even been playing on PC.
Yeah.
So I've watched a lot of Siege. I feel like, and I feel confident that I just know what a good team and what good Siege looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when it comes to like ranking teams, I think Triple G is a great team.
Yeah.
I've watched them play; they look solid. Aerial, don't even have to really say anything about that. I don't have to
Enough
explain
said.
myself. I think Triple G is the most slept on team, to be 100% honest. I kind of share that opinion. I think AMP said that as well in his interview.
A lot of people that I've interviewed have
Yeah.
said like Triple G is number 1 or 2 on their list. It's just like outside perception seems to not rate them, but everyone who has to compete in Element 1 is like, yo, they're the threat. Like it's them and Aerial.
Yeah, and I mean, like I watched SSG and I watched their games against I can't even remember who the two teams were.
It was Outlast and shit. Who's the other one? It was Outlast.
Osiris.
Yeah, Outlast and Osiris, and that was Chalet and then Oregon. Do you know why Osiris took him to Oregon? But
but they kept it close.
Yeah, they did keep it close.
Watching them keeping it that close to me, I'm like, how?
Yeah.
Like you look at the players that are on that roster. You look at the fact that they are literally SSG Academy. We wanted to be SSG Academy.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, we did.
Yeah. Who did it? Like, let's be real.
And what we were told was they wanted to bring on a team that they could mold into like their play style.
Yeah.
I think that was a massive mistake. I think the fact that these games are as close as they are is like only kind of showing that. I think like Osiris and like Outlast are not horrible teams.
No.
But like I don't think like by any means that they're a good representation of how SSG actually is as a team. If anything, I think it's more impressive that those teams were able to keep it as close and competitive, right? As opposed to like, wow, SSG is so dominant being a 2-0 team. Like, I think they're the weakest 2-0 team.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. And so when you talk about like teams that are like the top 3, I mean, I think like very obviously it's us, Triple G, and Aerial Rise. I think like if it ever comes to it, if we ever place SSG on game day, like I think that that's a game that we can win.
Yeah,
we should have been SSG Academy.
Yeah.
All love to Dilemma. All love to Dilemma. I actually just got my.
Oh really? Yeah, let's go.
It actually just came in.
Let's go. Yeah, I do think like the fact that SSG was played so close on Oregon, which like if you look at the core roster, which it's just the Luminosity core from CL pretty much, like plus Mohes and Snake, like stage 3 and playoff CL. That's LG. That's the core of this team plus Snake and Mohes, and they were always historically nasty on Oregon. Like they would just outgun you. They just were ahead.
And wasn't it the case that like in that Osiris game, like what were the stats at the end of that game?
I don't remember.
I could have sworn that there was like 2 people on Osiris that were like negative by a significant margin, and it's like you're still keeping it like that cut and close.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's rough.
Jesus, guys, come on.
Like especially because you have so much gun skill on SSG. Like that's supposed to be your whole thing. You just bowl them over.
You have
like,
so much experience on
skill.
that team. Multiple seasons of CL, like stages of PL, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean,
a major 06, but it's still a major. I can discount it all I want and call it fraudulent, but it's still a major.
Still a major. More than most people.
Yeah, no, that's true. All right, so I was taunting you with it at the start before we started recording, but this is the final question, which I suppose I probably should have thrown in the middle, but. This is about Karn & Co. and however many opponents you want to go forward, even though we don't really know any of them. Hold on, where is it? Why isn't it here? All right, give me a sec. Don't worry, I have a contingency. All right. There we go, I found it. We had the backup, we had the technology. Rank your upcoming opponents in terms of shitness compared to you.
No way. Who wrote this question?
I don't remember, but it was someone from. Actually, I'm not going to say that so nobody catches flames. But like, I was coming up for.
That's a good question.
No,
That's
is
a good question.
But it's not good for tournament broadcasts. It's just not professional enough.
You could always say, rank these teams, based off of how badly you think you'll beat them. There you go.
Oh, that's a good one.
Clean.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I'm looking at the Wikipedia right now.
Yeah.
Let's take a look here. All right. So we've got. It looks like Space Station. I'm going like 2 above and 2 below.
All
Just
right.
like for like this is like the safest. So I'll go all 4 teams, right? So we got Space Station, Carnival, Carnico, Wild Card.
Yeah.
Wow, this is gonna be hard. Okay.
Hard because we're all so shit, or hard because we're close?
Hard because they're close.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So in my mind, I think SSG Academy is. Oh wait, it is an order of shit, right? So like,
yeah.
Is
So
the shittiest.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I was about to have that mixed. Okay. I think SSG is probably 4th.
All right.
I think they're 4th.
So they're the best of the shit.
Yeah. Yeah, they're the best of the shit. Yeah, exactly. They're the least shit.
Yeah.
Damn, you're about to get me in some hot water because I know people from these teams would be like, "You called me shit? What's wrong with you?"
Look, man. We all know what trash talk happens behind closed doors. I'm just out here instigating in public.
Yeah. Matter of fact, you're right. All right, so I think we'll go from 4th to the most shit.
All right.
I think it's so Space Station is 4th. I think. Third. I am probably gonna have to say Wild Card is 3rd. Now I think it's like 2.5, 2.5. These 2 teams are tied in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's because my next team for 2nd is Carnival or like 1 HP.
Yeah.
2-0 team. 2-0 team. True. But look who they beat. They beat Taken Kings, Card & Co.
Yeah.
Like, hello? Well, I beat Taken Kings with 2 subs. I had Stop and Marmalade subbing, and we were running around trolling, like, and we beat them on Theme Park.
Yeah.
Come on. And also, like, I beat 1 HP on game day, for...
Was it Dow?
For Dow semifinals, I think.
Okay.
They were crying the whole time that their IGL couldn't talk. That was pretty funny. we made it. Our coach got blocked because of that, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Donut on Twitter was like, well, first of all, this is funny. So they can't even get mad at me because this is funny. Like, match point, it's like a 3v1. As soon as the game ends, like, as soon as the kill goes out, Donut had, like, a pre-typed paragraph about how, like, Big Guy was lagging. They couldn't play the game. Okay, come on. Like, he lost.
Yo, that's a quality scrub quote right there.
It's a best of 3. Come on. Like, you lost. It's fine. Just say GG's. It's a shame that, like, Brandon was lagging. Don't be like, oh, man, it's a shame we couldn't play the game because our IGL was lagging. Do you have a brain? Like, hello? Like, he doesn't control you guys. Like, have some... Anyways. And then on Twitter, immediately after that, he said something similar, and our coach, Sublik, was like, oh, I'm going to troll him. Like, we thought it was funny. We're going to troll him.
Yeah.
Immediately got blocked. Like, that fast. Like, post-notice fast blocked. That was hilarious.
Damn.
But I think, like, I can't rank one over the other because we've also beaten Wildcard in the grand finals, and that was a close game.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, I think Wildcard has some proving to do. Like, from a lover of the game standpoint, Wildcard, in my opinion, was like the best T3 team next to Aerial Rise Academy when they were in their prime. But like Wildcard was smoking people. They're smoking us. It wasn't even close. Then we played them in Dow Grand Finals, and like more recently, like even before that, when they had Woos and SFCL, and they just looked horrible. Yeah. No, they still look bad. They still look really bad.
They lost the Slate, and their second win, they're 2-0.
Their second win is a forfeit.
Yeah, it's a forfeit.
Okay, you know what? Actually, all right, so I'll modify then. Just for the sake of that, I will put Wildcard above Carnival, just because Carnival does have 2 wins. Do I think that those wins are indicative of anything? Not really.
All right.
And like that should obviously like kind of give my like, I think Karna's like the #1 team.
All right.
I don't know. I just think like
You're also facing them next.
Yeah. I mean, obviously,
gotta 100%. Gotta have confidence. Like as soon as it's
playing Karn next, and I'm not saying, oh yeah, those guys, it's gonna be a hard matchup. No, when I found out I was playing Aerial, I'm like, okay, clean 7-1, guys, let's go, pack it up again. Like, come on, you really think I'm gonna say, yeah, Karn, real, this gonna be a hard game.
Real strong competitor.
Tune into Element 1. It's gonna be a max OT game. No, of course not. Come on, we're gonna smoke those guys.
All right.
I mean, let's be real now.
Yeah. All right. I think I've done enough instigating. I've started enough dumpster fires.
Yeah, this one's gonna be fun though.
Oh,
I can't
dude.
wait on Twitter. People are gonna be so mad. You said that? Really?
Oh my god. He didn't say behind closed doors, guys. He called them trash like he would have in the private Discord, but in public.
Yeah, that one's so
Oh.
funny. It's honestly nothing personal. I mean, we're all
No,
competitors, right?
it's-
Like you can like somebody personally and
Think they're
that
bad at the
trash
game.
the game. I
Like-
got plenty of friends that I love that I got into the game. They're ass. So what? I mean, we live and we learn, right? Like
I've-
doesn't mean you can't get better.
Was literally playing Warhammer with a friend, and he had the worst decision making I've ever seen in a person. Just the situational awareness of a goddamn toad. He's still my friend. I'm still gonna give him shit for
Yeah,
for
exactly.
charging into an enemy horde while all 3 teammates are down 4 miles away. I can do both. I'm
Exactly.
multi-talented.
You can do both. You can do
And,
both.
and it's competition. Like you gotta be able to take the hits.
No beef at
No.
all. Peace, love, and positivity. I have no enemies. I'm on a positivity arc.
Yo,
so-
Vinland Saga, let's go. So final thing is just giving you the floor, Ozone. Anything you want to say to the horde that you've riled up, the friends that you may or may not still have? Anything at
Yeah.
all?
Yeah, I'm excited to see everybody in November. It should be fun.
Amen.
No matter what the outcome is, I can't wait to go to November and be like, yo, you remember when I told you that you were shit on fucking Fiendcast? Yeah, what's going on, brother?
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be fun.
Don't worry, that'll be me too, because I'm gonna keep
but-
doing it more interviews. I'll have a
There you
whole.
go.
I can say hi to
There you go.
everyone.
But yeah, I mean, on a real note, like shout out to everybody that's doubting us for real. I mean, we love being the underdogs. We
Yeah.
live off that energy. Before the games even started, you know, we know everybody got us at 2 and 3. I'm excited to make playoffs, beat Ariel for the grand finals, and prove everybody wrong. I think everybody on my team deserves a shot at PL, if not a spot in PL, and we're more than ready to go and prove that. I mean, it's not just going to be talk, right?
Yeah.
And then the other thing, Go Dilemma, like at Go Dilemma is our organization's Twitter. Go follow them because we actually just got out yesterday making some great content pieces. They're a fantastic org.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what kind of stuff they bring out next. I just got my shirt, so I'm excited to go and wear it. We got a game tonight against RTV OCS League. It's probably gonna be way too late for you guys to watch it, but I'll put like how we did in the quote replies, I guess.
Hell
Thank you,
yeah.
Fiend. Thank you, everybody. Take it easy.
Peace. Thank you.